yensonga gye tugenda okuba twogerako olunaku olwaleero, just as an introductory part of forgiveness in love relationships. Thank you so much for coming today, for attending, for being part of this every Friday at 5 p.m. Wetubeerawo nga tunyumya ensonga ezo eza emotions, things that money cannot buy but make life worth living. Mwiteko kubanna mmwe mubagambe nze ntandikirawo emotions are for the few abategeera omulimu oguli mu kutereeza emikwano egitabuse. Touch Spot Corner ye Mwambazi nabagamba nze njambasa fashion kwegamba singa nnyimirira ate nja kwozeka commotion naye Touch Spot Corner omulimu gwayo twambaza the ladies guide, twambaza abakyala anything concerned with woman's looks, emotional wellness, okweyagala, that's what we do at Touch Spot Corner. Touch Spot Corner, ladies bags, ladies suits, ladies quality dressing, ladies designer watches, perfumes, beddings. Yes, now we even have quality. We have just imported quality lipstick. Noba, we are going lipstick nga checho the whole day. Onywa, nolia, mulundi gumu todamu mpaka anja. We now also have quality lipsticks. Do makeup by Dorina. Ye mwana ankola kupati. Your makeup na bivudemu. Kati bankolako. Do makeup. Dorina Muwala. I mentored her. I think 6 years ago. Nagenda. Nabako chai kokola. Now she's the one doing my makeup. And she's the makeup artist. Every Friday and every time I'm having any kind of show. Do makeup by Dorina. Support her, please. You have a bridal shower, you have a baby shower, you have a wedding, you have a birthday party. You want to look good. Zinabagamba chibankola ko bijinyo katono nyo robode, but it could be more than this. Katono nyo. Just katono nyo to fit the time management. So do makeup by Dorina, Uganda. Mama supporting for quality makeup. You want her contacts? Please come to my inbox. I can always forward you the makeup. Ladies Guide, some announcements. I will always remind you. The Ladies Guide books now available at Aristoc, Uganda, all branches, Kampala Road, Garden City, and the Acacia Mall. Uganda Bookshop, opposite Christ the King, Babulina. Each and every district, Masaka, Mbarara, Lira, Bale, Mukono, Woli, as long as you're in parts of Uganda, go to the nearby bookstore. Or visit the Ladies Guide books or Jakwefuna. The Ladies Guide books are available in the USA. Yeah, we have Juliet Busura, Baja sharing email, ye alinga muzungu, itamu email, okenda kukolo, mugende mu physical. We're talking about irrational emotional decisions yesterday with Farida. Ngatugamba nti abazungu bakosa email. Tomala gagira ku sim direct. So ye agamba itamu email, oba ku email mugende ko mu inbox munyumyemu, then mugende ku call, you get the book as long as you're in parts of the USA. She has the books in the parts of USA and those other places there. Juliet Musurwa Bajakuwa, contact yao. Yes, Margaret Ajitadeko. In the UK, we have Nahia, ye number ya Kizaba Jiteko, please inbox her in case you want the Ladies Guide books. All of them. The books I'm talking about are more of emotional wellness. Fulfilling relationships and true happiness. Brand new. Twakateka mu colors, all cartoons, anything which is interactive for the reader. Okubanti bw'osoma onyumirwa ky'osoma atokitegeera. Akatabo kokka akayisa ebibuuzo mu kuzuukusa abantu emotionally okutegeera ensobi ze tukola, alina weesekerera and then you move on in life. The Lady's Guide to Emotional Happiness, the book that talks about more of emotions and emotional management. The mistakes that women make in emotions, especially pertaining black matters, when they're making decisions which cost their life, their happiness, their joy, their plans, and you change the course of life. Bakuzalira Kampala, wesanga oli mu Bahamas. Ngalabe kanyuzeyo, emotional control. So the Lady's Guide to Emotional Happiness basically deals with the way you can love, control yourself in love, fall in love, okay? Love is a very sweet emotion when managed, okay? The Lady's Guide Journal, akatabo, akakuyiriza okuwandika ebirowoozo byo. It's an interactive book where you interact with self. Because we believe in psychology, the answer is ziri mu wewe noonyabo oti answer ogiyina. So toyina kujja wange ngumbuza answer. Buli kigambo kyogera answer ogiyina. So the Lady's Guide Journal, the journal means the journey to life. Weewandiikako ne weeinterviewinga nga siriyo. Bw'omala okwe-interviewinga, answer n'otegera n'ogamba manyi kirabika I'm going wrong in this and that, and then I think I need to improve. So the Lady's Guide Journal, a controlling obusungu, obeere emotionally controlled. Oleme kuvuma abantu, oba n'ebyama byo obiwandika buwandiisi n'osigala nga munda okolagana. Those are the books that are written by the Lady's Guide, me, and they're all available in the market. Mu number zebawadde contacts, please support yourself. Nabagamba okutaba kutuwuze kati sikyatunda. That is the reality. It is you to help yourself now. Okay? You can find them anywhere, near your place, near anywhere you think you will find the books around those areas. Mariam Nabuja, once again, the Lady's Guide. Emotional wellness is my passion. Your emotional wellness is my dream. Imagine ekintu kyange newulirayo kyeshande as simple as that, and it's so beautiful, you know, realizing why I'm here, you know, it is so amazing. Okay, so we are always 5 p.m. East African time. In case it's your very first time to be here, we are always here at 5 p.m. every Friday to talk about the things that money cannot buy but make life worth living, the emotions. So previously, last week, we had a session. It wasn't a session per se. We were doing a throwback or a review of what we've learned so far. Because usually, omusomesa wasomesa nga tabuuza bibuuzo. Tetujja kubateeka mu class tubagambe tuula ku bibuuzo osome. Twali twagala kumanya tuli ku mulamwa. Are we together? So we interacted by knowing, are we on track? What have you learned? What are the things that you really need to learn? We had a session that interacted with the viewers by telling us exactly what they want us to teach them. We had a lot of topics: how to handle love and emotion when you're still single, how to deal with forgiveness, how to deal with married men, how to deal with a mean man, how to deal with a man who eats a woman's money. It was so interesting. The topics were so many indeed. How to deal in polygamous marriages, partners who don't like our family members, how to deal with in-law, narcissism in churches. So there are a lot of questions, and we are going to be looking through this. We are not in any hurry, okay? Tugenda tambula mpola, okay? Tukyaliwo emyaka endala 6. Nabagamba mu 6 nja kubeera akakazi akakadde akali ku YouTube, tekugenda lipstick, tetugenda kukkiriza bukadde. Nabagamba nga bakawanika twakola dda facelift, olwo nja kuba ne ku cheekbones. Njagenda bansalemu ku cheekbones, buyimuke. So we learned a lot, and we are working on it. We are trying to, ebirungo tubyongeremu tulabe nti tusavinga mu ngeri we toyagalamu. Mariam Nabuja, once again, I'm an author, a counseling psychologist, a life coach, a lover of love, a teacher, an educator, I am all-rounder, a businesswoman. I do a lot of things. And usually I look at my life as more of passion-driven, okay? Because that's where my source of happiness and living comes from. So to the Ladies Guide community, in case you are here for the very first time, tobeerangako wano ku Facebook, tobeerangako ku YouTube channel, nga bwe gusoose wano tukwaniriza bweno family, abali wano bonna bategeevu, tebakyakyamukirira, njo twabadde n'omulamwa gw'okukyamuukirira, era nsuubira ba students bange babaddeko mwasuze mutya yesterday, temukyakyamukirira, mukozesa bwongo. Eno ekisula yavaayo edda, omukyamula akutunuulira bw'ati takyayingira nnyo, mukozesaamu wano. It will be absurd to be on these classes for a lot of this time, nomala ng'oli mu mess nga tujjo tubiyogere wano. So a student of Ladies Guide is now ready to become a counselor of other people. Buli ava wano asobola counseling abalala, kubanga the same basics are the same things, and these are universal laws I'm giving you. Okay? So, to the Ladies Guide community, thank you for always keeping it Ladies Guide every 5 p.m. East African time on Friday. Njagala nnyo okuba nti mubeera wano buli lwakutana mutta akaseera kano. Just 1 hour now. Twagala kwesanga 1 hour. Tugende nga tulize 1 hour yokka owangula obwongo, oyingira weekend ng'oli control. Oli ajja okuteekamu emotion okakuyo ng'ogamba excuse me. Ogamba excuse me. Nga toyita kyotidde oli ku mulamwa. That is what the Ladies Guide does. So today, mbadde njagala twogere ku nsonga tugenda gye kutula phases kubanga it's wide. It is really, really wide, and that's the source of emotional happiness. Forgiveness. Okusonyiwagana, okusonyiwa. It is the most honest, especially when it comes to matters of love. Why? Because love is an emotion. Kubanga egenda ku mutima gwennyini. Ku mutima neeyingira. Oli naakuyingiza emotions ze, naawe n'oyingira ezize. Ne wabaawo konna akatabangula akantu ako, oyinza obutasomebwa. Nandi kyoyinza okuvaawo nga n'obusungu n'otulane ku balala abaliddako. N'abaliddako nga bw'olaba omuwala afaanana Mariam akunyiiza bunyiiza. Why? Because you have unresolved past issues. Most of us women, we find men in the dating market. We even marry them nga aina unresolved past. Unresolved past. Onogiyingira. Ogide ku mulamwa. Ogina laavuyo. Ogulira oyaga. Nga ye tannaba kumalizeemu. Kakati ogenda okuyingira bw'oti. Abasinga bene, many people find fault with self because thinking that they are the bad ones in the relationship. Yet, it is the other person who has the unresolved past. Okay? So, forgiveness is one of the most important habits we can always have in life. Not easy, but very much possible. Chisoboka. That's why in Ngambia, conflict exists, but it shouldn't stay. Conflict with self, conflict with others, conflict with the universe, conflict with your environment, or okay? Inside. We talked about emotional connection yesterday. We talked about emotional attachments. So if you missed, please go to Mwasuze Mutia Facebook and watch that show, because it is easily connecting with the rhythm of the flow of harmony. We said emotions, ekigambo emotions, enewulira, feelings, it is a cocktail of things. That is what I said. Since it's a cocktail, feelings zijja nezeegatta ez'enjawulo okudefining ekyo kimu. I am emotionally down. Naye nga tusobola agamba depressed, stressed, anxious, worried, full of hate, envy. All those are emotions that can define one thing. I am emotionally tired, depressed. It's a cocktail. Genuine love, happiness, it's a cocktail of things to make you happy. We learn about dangerous expectations, realistic expectations from relationships. Okola harmony. Twagamba abataliwo, harmony is when two people in a relationship meet and it is a fitting issue. Ekigere n'okiteekamu nga tokikiiramu ddala, a fitting issue. Okay? So when there is harmony in a relationship, usually people have expectations nga bayingira. Binaaba bitya, anaaba atya, nsuubira yandibadde bw'ati, ajja kuba bw'ati, maybe keeping that hope alive and making love enjoyable and the relationship fruitful. We said, in the realistic expectations or reasonable expectations, let us call them so, they include, amongst others, being honest and integrity, patience and tolerance, appreciation and encouragement of your partner, presence and priority of the relationship. You are present and you must give it a priority in your life. Flexibility and freedom, allowing someone else to be what they're supposed to be. We have individualities. We say there is kindness and affection. Somebody must be kind and must be full of affection. And then we said lastly, and which is the reason for this show today, forgiveness. So we're doing the relationships, if possible, write them down, type them, print them, hang them in your house, and let them be the foundation of your relationship always. Because failure of any of this, the relationship gets into disharmony. So forgiveness, if someone finds forgiveness, if someone forgives and is forgiven, emotionally you get back in line. Okay? Emotions, it's positive, happiness, joy, peace, you have serenity, it goes back to the other positive. If we don't get this forgiveness part, you stay in the negative. Anger, jealousy, fear, hatred, revenge. You build that emotion trade in your brain. Okay? So forgiveness is our now area of focus. The reasonable expectations every healthy relationship married, single, you must learn forgiveness. And if you're not ready for forgiveness, don't enter any kind of long-term relationship. Long-term is anyway friendship. It is very hard for friends to be with each other in 10 years along the way. So it is important to note humans error. Mistakes, no one is perfect. Perfection. Narcissist. Those ones who fake a persona of an angel inside the devil. Angel munda. Sheepskin, but inside it's a lion. They were faking. Realistically speaking, everybody makes mistake. Nobody's perfect. So most of the time we behave selfishly. Let's get there. When you focus selfishly, let's get there. Nga selfish. Could be the other side because all of us want different things. Much as we live together, we are in love, we are individuals. We should always remember that. Individuality of a relationship must always stay. So if you learn that everybody is an individual, it will save you that toil of expecting people to be what they're not, to become the angel. Okay? Okay? So it is impossible to find a perfect relationship. Perfect. Everybody has some issue to solve. Okay? So you should always not look at conflict in a relationship as a sign of a failed. I don't look at the factor where people come with very little small problems. pertaining a relationship. When something is very simple and they have complicated it. Why? Because every conflict, oli abalowooza bagenda muddukako, oli abalowooza bamulimba, oli abalowooza kyekono bwati bwabeera. Small conflicts don't mean the relationship has ended, or it is wrong, or somebody is bad. That should be on your mind. Conflict is part of growth of a relationship. To test, to know each other. That is part and parcel. And we should always learn how to deal with it. Through mostly learning to forgive. Our single was especially how would you forgive? That's why we are going to take it in phases. It's not an exciting topic, but it's the point. It is not a glittering topic, but it has all the answers to emotional management issues. So I am out of hurry. To build the momentum. So we often offend partners, we talk things carelessly, we do things that hurt others that to take it day. They want to take it, but we don't know the extent of the hurt. When something is so painful, okay? So we always offend. And the fact that we are always making those small mistakes and we are not even aware of it most of the time, it is very important for someone to learn how to forgive and to understand personalities and then to treat people differently. I learned it the hard way. I usually wanted it my way. Usually, I wanted it my way because I'm very organized. I don't like disorder. Perfectionist. You know, perfectionists find problems. You want things in the orderly manner and someone else is not as fast as you are. Then you start cramming yourself. You want it quickly. Yeah? Learning co-dependence or interdependence or coexisting is a very, very important trait. And that's the origin of forgiveness. Bonategera tetufaanagana. Abantu bafaanagana. Mundowooza, mukulaba ebintu, mungumikiriza, munjagala, oli abantu tebamanyi kwagala, nga tamanyi kutijja, ng'akwagala nnyo, naye nga tamanyi takyamula bulungi. Mugambe, yonna anjagala oba tanjagala. Ngenda kubuuza naye nkansooza anjagala oba tanjagala. Nze simuwulira. Tayaka. Naye nga kweyagala bali, yeah, you know, because your first name oli ali tayogera. Takola ki? Ate kagamba kwawe ngo bino kulowooza asaaga ebikolwa birala balina bikantibi nga tebakyamuka nga yo nature yaabwe bane nga ne bw'oba tajja kukyamuka nga you either learn to live with it ate kawogenda mu bakyamukirivu banno oba kubafere banarcissist anti be bakyamuka mukyamuka ne mu the bomb gets, then you go back to the calm one. And they are always waiting. They are always waiting. So, for any healthy relationship, or to have a healthy relationship or partnership, we need to learn to forgive. Forgiveness as a topic on its own comes from understanding that we are different. Nga bwegambye ojasanga omuntu akyamula, ojasanga omuntu ng'ali wat kati zeri wet. Osanga omulala nga gayisibwa atyo. Then now that link awo to understand that they are them and you are you. Okay? So forgiveness being one of the qualities ziri omusango is that a relationship okubeera healthy. Eyamba okuba nti ejjawo bitterness, emotional, that stress that comes with omuntu anyiiza. Abantu basobola okubeera mu relationship omuntu n'akola ekintu mu 2005 nga bakyali married ne kikaringa forward to 2021. Nga bakaseera oli akikomyawo 2005 2021 kikyalimu, it is lingering, in fact called lingering, kikyalimu relationship, and it is controlling the whole relationship. Forgetting is even hard, by the way, because somebody is always bringing it up. And things are trying to work out, but mubiri mugomuta nojjukira owatuleka wano n'ogenda n'ozaala omwana akikomyawo. So they are in the present but in the past. Present but in the past. That is unforgiveness. And usually people get tired and it strangles the whole good thing. It strangles change. So learning to forgive and to forget and even never talk about it is an art, which we are going to learn step by step. And I expect by the end of this, all phase of sessions, my students will never be hurt again. Okay? Things will happen. People will hurt you, but you learn to separate where forgiveness has to take place and where forgiveness must end. Today we are in introduction. So let me give you some of the advantages of forgiving as a habit in a relationship. And thank you so much that you have a pen and paper. Forgiveness has a very big advantage. Ngoli mulongo term. Katwetwogerako bamu bine byatwera last week, next week, week sisatu mwezi gumu temunnatandika. Njogerako abo abali wakati w'ennyanja. Those who are in the middle of the relationship journey. Abatandise ku lugendo. Okay? Forgiveness, learning to forgive liberates and is a source of healing. Bw'ogaana okusonyiwa omuntu gw'ogenda okubeera naye mu laavu, gw'olaba buli lunaku, gw'oyogera naye buli lunaku, gw'olina okubeera naye, gw'olina okupulaaninga naye, gwennyini olwala agaanye. Ye ayinza obutakimanya but you're sick and you're not doing a liberty. So it lingers here. It lingers and lingers and lingers. So when you learn to forgive, you're going to become free and liberated and you're going to heal. I will take you now. Number 2, it makes you an unhealthy person. Wait. You become healthy. Omuntu atayina kusonyiwa ne bw'omusanga mukubera omulaba ngeza omulinya ku kigere by mistake. Just by mistake no something is lingering in the head. I told you when we talk about emotional wellness, we talk about mental health. Yeah? Mental health and emotional health are intertwined. Omuntu waba mentally tateredde, emotional tateredde, ne mental tateredde. Kati gwogera mulinyako bw'otolozaka olinye ku bbomu. Alina ebintu bye byamutawanya edda atambala byati ku mutwe alina ominyako. Then someone overreacts and like, why? What have I done? Ngolaba kati naye kayekubye kinene because agasse a pile of unresolved issues. So you become an unhealthy person. You're going to become a healthy person from now on. Number 3, when you learn to forgive, you learn patience, you learn tolerance, you learn accepting people the way they are. Haven't you gone to a place before where you need maybe a service provider to help you, maybe in this one telecom companies, and you go and this attendant harasses you? No to go mugambe ekintu. Nakamba what? Madam, can you go sit there? Now Mali said you would overreact. But because you've learned along the way to forgive people because you don't know why that person is behaving like that. Either Mamsasura Masala, Oba she had a bad night, Oba normally are frustrated. Usually this happens when you go to places where you find someone who is Siba Inokola. You must have that a pathetic understanding. Omwami ono omulimu gwakola omuntu mukulu ate wenyongerako harassment y'omujooga mba nkoze disaster. Let me not remind him that he's in not icing sugar, where I read somewhere where someone said that when you find somebody doing a job like a waiter naye ngolaba mukulukulu myaka nga tegumusaananga nawe okiraba nti ddala agukola lwa buzibu, please tip them. Balance to God. They are going through something. You must have that empathetic understanding to accept people that there is a reason. So don't even call back. They're trying to vet off. Vetting off. So most of the time you find the same people in the relationships. Kati ate nawe soles judgments olesa another nagamba kati let me teach you a lesson. Never forget, and they will cause pain. Okay, so learning to forgive will teach you patience. Ngabo ngamba joyingira mu restaurant oba mu kifo kyonna nalaba omuntu nga mukulu oba maybe forget no tunano ngamba bambi omusajja ono alina ekintu kyayitamu omutima gwo nogamba just tip them, give them something, make their day. Tajja kujjukira nti tali, but they will find you human. That is what most people don't have. They will instead abuse the man because they are tired, Learn that social psychology. Okay? So forgiveness will teach you social psychology of patience, tolerance, and enduring people by knowing where they come from and why they're behaving like that. Number 4. It will remove your relationship from conflict to compassion. Like I said, relationships have conflicts most of the time, and they'll always be there. But when you learn to forgive, as talking about the forgiveness part will remove the relationship from that conflict to compassion. Otandika okutegeera lwaki abantu abamu bali mu ngeri gye balimu. Tojja kwogera wano mu kamwa, but you've concluded mentally. Mugamba, bambi, alikwati. So the conflict gets over and then you move to compassion. You sassila them, then again adding conflict on conflict. Okay? So those are some of the things you're going to get by learning forgiveness. I told you, step by step. Njagala ofuge healthy person. A person who is healthy, taba na emotional 12. Ndamu. Talina muyede. Mumukanda wamu akantu wako. Kilini. You try to deal with it quickly. Because that is the social, emotional entanglement. Okay? So, let us talk about conflict before we move to forgiveness now. Where does it come from? Conflict. Because conflict with self, conflict with others, conflict with everything, the source is from your inner lack of peace. Emotionally, oba totereera nga tokolagana tosobola kolagana balala. N'omuntu yenna buli kyenjogera, just look into your environments. Omuntu yenna musula abantu mubeeramu tojja kyogera wonna naye okwogera akati oyo takolagana tojja kwogera. Just conclude. Okay? So conflict isn't a sign, again, of unhealthy relationship or marriage. Let not anyone ever tell you, because there is conflict in your marriage, oh, no love ye. Duka walala. Grass is green on the other side of the fence, is not green. Okay? Conflict is part and parcel of any growing relationship. Even if you're two friends who are coming into friendship, there's that part of testing. It's called the norming stage of friendship. Testing no friendship, power play. Who is going to be the leader? Who is going to be the follower? Who is going to take up which position? Yeah. So even marriage is the same thing. can take place, but it leads you to something. It leads you to something. It leads you to something. So we have to understand that much as it exists in relationships, even where the best of love is, it does not guarantee that you're unhealthy. Unhealthy, it was how to know that a relationship is totally unhealthy. I'm sure I did a video about that. Saying okay? So when conflict is not dealt with, it grows into unforgiveness, bitterness, but it resolve things and issues. That's why buli woba nga tolina kyokkiriziganya ne munno with loved one, talk. Mugobe ebyamawo. Omuntu mugambe sina byama. Tell someone and let them understand. It will save you the toil of not sleeping and not them not knowing. They were going to be last week. If you don't say, if you don't ask, they don't know. I don't know. So learn to tell somebody when something's not right in a good way. I'm feeling something. What? Let me say it. I'm feeling. It will help you deal with that conflict early than mounting it ngegenda yeeyongera. Wegenda yeeyongera time etuhanga omuntu ajjudde bitterness ngambe omunyinya ku kigere bwoti akuba bukubi kintu bwati nga it has, the thing is like this, it is growing every day. Okay, so conflict happens everywhere, but when it's not resolved in early stages, it can lead to bitterness, it can lead to pain, it can lead to unforgiveness, and then it gets worse. Okay, so let us look at the few things you should know about conflict. Remember, we are not yet started with forgiveness. I'm trying to introduce to you where the forgiveness part comes from. Like I say, I don't deal with the leaves, I go to the roots. Okay? Because when we deal with the problem from its foundation, as ogenda wansi nola bikizibu realistically zinabagamba Africa tebagala kwebulya mazima ebi Africa bebinemi era nzata no badukako Africa abantu tebagala mazima bagala ebintu ebiri bwe biti and it's going to end up like this, so they waste a lot of time. Okay, so it has to be realistic. It just ends where someone says, hey Mariam, what you saw kiza mutu na kulimba muko. I can't wait for that. I don't leave to chance. I don't leave anything to chance. I will find out, even if it means putting on spying network. I do that. Why? Because I really need to get ambiguity. The brain has to read the books, I have to do what they have to research, I have to I think I can ambiguity. I can't. So better say everything. Just say it. If I was a man, I think yes, I would have more and Quagala, Unjagala when it down. You get a cat to Chimale. Send them to get little darling, say it or not. Let's end it now. The thing is not there. Already the no, the sibling about. So if I was a man, will you give what? Let us finish now quickly. How will you? I don't like lying. We've played the games. Time is not there. So these are things to note about conflict before we start forgiveness as a phase. When conflict is handled very well, it can actually cause relationships to stand for a long time. Whenever you conflict in friendship, in partnerships, in love, it even makes the bond stronger. For those who are still a bit single, when you get married, there's that stage where we need to know who is the one with the power. If you come, yes, the butterflies get over, the ecstasy gets over, then you go to that phase of who will be under who. Then it can be a season, until when someone accepts their position and another one, and then conflict is over. So it is part and parcel. It leads to clarity of a relationship. So I say, conflict can actually cause you to feel stronger and closer to the person afterwards. Even in friendships, mugula mukalolere mpaka webatega nti oyo alina emputtu mumanyi kati omutegedde. Therefore, you know, it's better than the end you don't know, yeah, it becomes a bit more clear. Okay? So number 2, in conflict, in a relationship, never open your mouth to speak words which come to you first. Every time you're facing conflict, the mouth is the problem. One. If someone learns to is wababe mazi. When people are in disagreements and you speak, somebody will never forget that word when you are in high tempers. Okay? So the next point to note is the first words that come to your mouth, never open your mouth. Soko lindeko. Naye kazibu hapo. Soko lindeko. Ouli yangu egamu wakati kati. Kakati. You can't even wait. Simu ujipani waga kati. Nenda katika kangubulide. That patience, we need to cultivate it. Whenever you want to talk, stop and consider the effect of those words to the relationship. Si muntu muyita leero mbwa ate ng'embwa next week yagenda okugula emmere. Mbwa gwe. Kale wantama naye next week ate yagenda okugula emmere. Ate next week yagenda okugolola engoye. Tebikwatagana, you know. So controlling to speak is one of the arts in any long-term relationship. If you learn to not to speak for one good day. That is where I practice a lot of control. Not to talk. But when I want to talk, something like that, talk. But when you talk, there is a repercussion of your words. Okay? So always consider the effect of your words before you speak them when you're in times of high emotions. Any discussion about emotions, ebibuzo byagala okubuuza baŋŋambe wazaddewa baŋŋambe biki mpulira bagamba mu lugambo olina omuwala gw'oyagala eyokakasa ddala gundi mukwanoko any kind of such discussion is really emotionally highly charged. Tojogera nga olina busungu olina ozogera nga okkakkanye. That is again emotional management. As in oyagala mugamba kati olugambo balikuwadde omulengedde evidence ogina esimu ogikebedde weebiri ddala nowala ogaga nokwala screenshot nogamba if I'm lying, do you think I'm okay? Every kind of communication in a relationship when it is emotionally highly charged, ogenda kugera ku nsonga ezikwatagana ne omutima olina zogera ng'oli calm. Henry baŋŋambe ku ssaawa nga 8 bakulengeddeko Kampala Road ng'oli ne Princess Rosa naye ng'oli scam iri ani yagamba ekigambo ekyo ate nawe betubireke. Calmness is the origin of emotional intelligence. Jukira toni gyakyogereddemu point nene nnyo naturally sivinze tewabaddewo high tempers then eddoboozi liwanise ddala, then everything gets out of the mess. Forgiveness cannot take place if you don't learn these things. No matter how much someone you can say sorry, they may not forget the words you said after you had a conflict with them. Okay? Remembering Kagoya Sainat, happy birthday. And whenever prisons need you can do we had a birthday this week. One of our own Kagoya here, Banange, birthday. So you want to day, but then no program first. I stand and Kagoit, won't you need Princess has duties. Happy birthday, girl. Birthday, Dinyumirwe, and live to blow many more candles. Back to conflict. Never ever open your mouth when you are emotionally high. Wait. By time oshtegede na yeto soba kwangu. Owo chakude simbo chakamase kaita honey love you. No kala no registered no sirika. Nengo ko kala bi. Naye linya to yetegereza badde Deborah baddani. Next time oba oli kusimbo kyo yakyo okolako Deborah najja kanya no kala ba Deborah. Amugamba hey, are you fine? Elinya no yaba register again. Don't you see? It's a process. Next time, esimu nekuba nagenda nayo ngamba Deborah. Deborah, I'm registering them, but don't fire. It means that by the time you have a meeting which is emotionally calm, you have evidence, you know what you're talking about, and nobody can gaslight you. You are very sure 100%. So you just, next time you see, no codes, password 777. You need to prove. No cramming, 77. Next time, kati gwati kutowinga kubanga ebigambo yali kutogamba naye nina okumanya. Who is Deborah? How does she look like? Who is she? Yeah? Who is this new intruder? Yeah? It is a process. Calmly. Okay? Calmly. And even if you see, don't react. The only time you react is when you're calm and when you've made a decision. Number 5. And when you react badly, because even if you're going one name action is visible, it's not easy. Most of the time we shall go against that. But when you find yourself that you reacted with fire, yeah, then don't wait so much for a long time. Apologize immediately. Immediately, an apology. If it's a male sex, they easily forgive. Female, it will take time, but they'll forget. But immediately, sort it out. And learn also to accept the apology if someone overreacts, because that is an emotional charged reaction. I've seen somebody called Deborah texting you, "Hey baby, today you did pass by." Pass by where? Who? When? How? Who? What? The brain starts running. Yeah? We should learn to take up those apologies. And remember why you went into the relationship. So conflict is part of a relationship. Always. 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 So if you're not willing to forgive, you're not willing to take apologies, you're not willing to emotionally get intelligent, don't enter relationships. There's always that part. Don't. Why? Because most of the time, abantu bonna bayingira balowooza it is butterflies. You make promises and you shall deliver. But being human beings, there's no risk error. Especially the male, why men cheat? Why is it hard for them to be monogamous? It is very difficult. And then when you learn such things, you should always remember why there is a book I read, it's called Start With Why. I liked it. If you don't know why you got married to this person, if you don't know why you started a relationship with this person, kyangu nnyo okufuna akantu kabanga akanene nga si kanene, something to intrude the relationship, and it breaks you and shatters it apart. The why is the only thing that keeps people together. The why. Why are you on Ladies Guide? Why are you here? To pick information about emotions. Full stop. The moment I start cooking here, or to make a fashion show, or to make how to make bridal hair, I'm off. You will leave. Because the why is no longer there. So is the relationship. Bobo manyi nti wagende omuntu bwe ebisongeza kukola. In fact, zina kuba mu lukulambu. So that when the waves come in, forgiveness can easily take place when you know the why. But if the why is not there, I've seen people shatter very meaningful friendships and because of something small like this. Now if you don't need to go good. Then she didn't get the ensonga. Then they started negotiating. Why? Because the why, the reason why they got into the relationship was not clear. I've learned to start with why. Why am I here? Why am I here? The why will bring me here. But without the why, I have a lot of excuses. The why will give you the what, the how, the when, the who, byonna bijja kuddibwamu nga bwayogera. So ne bw'oba ogenda kwagala muntu why? Why are you with the goon? Why are you with the Princess Rosam? Why? That why should help you to sort all these other conflicts that are going to come into the relationship, to save the other big thing with the why. Watch it, Yoli. Okay? Because when people lose the why they are married, why they are relating with this person for a long time, why they are cohabiting perhaps, why they are living with so and so, why they are in friendship with so and so, and then something small, like a conflict comes, why? Nazaala akaanaawo naye nga ne why terikiriyo naga nkola kiwa bigale nga bigala why teriiwo. So why did you get married? Why did you fall in love? Why did you love so and so? Why did you cohabit with them? Why did you introduce marriage? Why did them? The why is the point where we should base ourselves to forgive others. Because let me just give an example. Let's go back to business now. Because when I relate with business, it is going to give you an answer very clearly and quickly. Bw'otandika business nga ekigendererwa gomagoba kanambe oba kuzimba business empire or to find a job. Some people start businesses to get a job. Afune kyakola naye nga talina na profits never start and at least in nature. I want you to be busy. The why, right, what you cause it, will keep you inside there even when the profits are not coming. The why is answered. So even relationships, when you go inside a relationship with someone, in every GT you're in, why are you there? When you get that why, which I don't know, which you know, I don't know, each one of you has a different why. Brenda has a why, Deborah has a why, Jenna has a why, Margaret has a why, everybody has a why, which I don't know. Eyo why yo, yegenda okutaasa ng'omuntu azadde ebweru, n'owulira nti yazadde akaana, n'ogamba naye lwaki ndi wano? Oddangayo lwaki? Lwaki? Is he funding the relationship? Am I having the provision of a home? Am I in love? What that answer is where forgiveness will come from. So today we have been introduced to why you need to forgive and conflict management. Next week, we are going down to look at forgiveness tips in general, and we shall give you the step by step you take to totally forgive a good, healthy, thriving relationship you want to salvage. Some things are some people or some relationships need to be salvaged. Ngogenda feel okulungi. Tukaze bwe kati kashatalide empire yonna. Business empire. Bwe kati kajinyenye bwe kati. It's really worth it. You need to save it. So for those who need to save their relationships, now this is your show. How do you save it? Nga wayo erikiria kati nze omulimu gwe mbatumye, go back. Sit down with a piece of paper and a pen or a book. Why are you in that relationship? Whatever why are you? Someone is saying here, Princess Rosa, most ladies stay because he had the money. That is a reason. If he still has it, then he stay. Like I said, life is a theater and everybody is an actor. Olabanga sente tekikubeerayo. Olabanga anyirira waliwo abantu ngagamba nze omuwamba nkuba ne watamba sente njagala omusajja omuwamba. Ezo nga zimuwamba nga ayina eddoboozi tekimala. They will be there. That very important decision. You mind a decision here. Whatever you married. We shall learn the tips on how to get that forgiveness. Okay? And it must be worthwhile. Nabagamba kubirimba ebibyo. Onerimba, nitumala emyaka emirala etaano wano n'oleta story. The story zijja kuba zisoze. Because omulimu gwange, I have thrown in the light to show you the gray areas of life and where you need to fix your life. Like I said, your love and your emotions, that is your responsibility. My responsibility is to give you the guide. Once I just give you the guide. So go back, sit down, a pen and paper, Write the name Henry Chisule. Why am I with him? The why? But why Ogambe? Because he has the money. He loves me so much. Oh, he's very kind. He loves my people. He's a very good father. He is a provider. You know the one decade. Write the good things you see in that person before you go to the bad. Okay? The things that you think are still staying, making you stay in that relationship. Then the bad things are there. You know, you're between there. But by the time we talk about forgiveness, we just want to solve almost on you are based on the why you're there. But if the why is not there, then why you have work out. If not telling a who, anyway, we can relationship. It's a personal decision you make based on what I have told you. Okay? So let us look at the tips. Next week we go slow. Saga about overwhelming. Tips on how to forgive. This process. Forgiveness can be in families, can be in when you're single. We shall look through that. Forgiveness can be in marriage, when you're in a long time kind of marriage and something happens to shatter the big term. And when you make a wrong decision, you can lose the whole empire. And then you begin again. Like one of my favorite mentors, he said, every time you're beginning again, anything, you're going into a new phase of learning disability. Kitegeeza n'owoba ogenda kufumbira owalala obadda nguto okumuyiga okumutegeera biki byali another 4 years to learn a new person. So you go back to the learning disabilities. So at times beginning again may not be the solution. Salvaging may be the solution. So let us look at how to salvage those very good relationships where the why is very clear, but something happened. Something happened. A parent, a child, a sister, something happened. But then you cannot redo the whole relationship because you can never find another father. You can never find another sister. You can never find another, at times it's not easy. Then forgiveness is going to leave you as a healthy person. You live a liberated life. You live a free will life. The mind will be very open. The emotions will be very active. And what I will assure you is one, emotional happiness, okay? So let's look deeper into forgiveness, the tips, the steps, and that will be next week, same time Friday, 5 p.m. East African time on the Ladies Guide. In case it's your very first time on our Facebook page, please like, follow, and share the page. If it's your very first time when you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe and share. And always watch these videos because what I guarantee you is that from time to time, all these videos are going to be giving you one thing, that thing that money cannot buy, but make life worth living. The emotions, okay? That emotion, the things you can't explain. Those are things we talk about every Friday at 5 p.m. Thank you so much, and see you again next week. Bye-bye.